Introduction. An apparently insolvable paradox. The idea though is not dead. BAUDRILLARD. There has been a great deal of interest and speculation aroused by the invention of the term virtual reality and the digitally generated experience of multimedia simulation and interactivity that it is applied to. It has often been accused of being an oxymoron and so justifies a perusal of the shorter Oxford Dictionary. Virtual, adjective. 1. Possessed of certain physical virtues or capacities, effective in respect of inherent natural qualities or powers, capable of exerting influence by means of such qualities. 2. Capable of producing a certain effect or result, effective, potent, powerful. 3. That is so in essence or effect although not formally or actually, admitting of being called by the name so far as the effect or result is concerned. Reality, noun. 1. The quality of being real or having an actual existence. Correspondence to fact, truth. 2. Suggestion of, resemblance to, what is real. 3. Real existence, what is real, the aggregate of real things or existences, that which underlies and is the truth of appearances or phenomena. If we then take virtual as meaning, capable of producing an effect and reality as meaning, a quality suggestive of or resembling what is real, we have VR defined as something that is capable of producing an effect that is suggestive of what is real, an adequate term for digital potential, and the notion of an oxymoron disappears, leaving in its place a paradox and a question of degrees. The interplay between the digital and the analog gives a new twist to ideas of experiencing space and time, raising issues of the perception of reality that have already long been a preoccupation of artists and theorists alike. It is likely not only to modify our perception of reality but also the reality we perceive. Art, literature, and music might all be classified as capable of producing an effect that is suggestive of what is real, and their advocates have often laid greater claims as if everyday reality were but an illusion. Surrealism is an obvious example, but terms such as inspirational, ecstatic, prophetic, and transcendental are scattered liberally throughout the entire history of what we might bundle together as the arts. We arrive inevitably at an eternal discourse of meanings, significance, and ultimately perception. This essay will address the question of degrees with regards the potential form and function of the digital in relation to the arts, whilst bearing in mind Negroponte's statement that the best way to appreciate the merits and consequences of being digital is to reflect on the difference between bits and atoms. A bit has no color, size, or weight, and it can travel at the speed of light. It is a state of being, on or off, true or false, up or down, in or out, black or white. Being digital, Part 1. In the field of art, this immateriality brings with it many possibilities, but it also represents the paradox of something and nothing. Modern science also incorporates an anti-materialist bias, the dialectical outcome of its war against religion. It has in some sense become religion. Science as knowledge of material reality paradoxically decomposes the materiality of the real. Science has always been a species of priestcraft, a branch of cosmology, an ideology, a justification of the way things are. The deconstruction of the real in post-classical physics mirrors the vacuum of irreality which constitutes the state. Once the image of heaven on earth, the state now consists of no more than the management of images. It is no longer a force but a disembodied patterning of information. But just as Babylonian cosmology justified Babylonian power, so too does the finality of modern science serve the ends of the terminal state, the post-nuclear state, the information state. Or so the new paradigm would have it, and everyone accepts the axiomatic premises of the new paradigm. The new paradigm is very spiritual. Hakim Bey, The Information War. I have taken the term virtual reality in a broader sense, encompassing all of the potential of the digital communications technology, to represent this new paradigm where there is not a digital revolution but a digital evolution of the status quo. It seems to me that the virtual represents a marketing strategy that is selling technology, or making it more humane, as art, as well as exploiting the commercial possibilities of games and other information and entertainment products, a culmination of capitalist expansionism. BNFL in a recent public information TV advertisement presented itself as developing VR for, of all things, virtual shepherd training. We are already experiencing the virtual joke much in the same way as there is the psychoanalytical joke. This is before the vast majority of people have any experience of VR, but then what percentage of people have analysts? Use values must never be looked upon as the real aim of the capitalist. The never-ending augmentation of exchange value is achieved by constantly throwing it afresh into circulation. Marx K. Capital, p.152. With the swing from real estate to virtual estate, we are to experience the invention of new forms for the manipulation of perception, where the idea is perhaps more significant than any notions of function and practicality. We cannot separate the special importance of the visual apparatus of man from his unique ability to imagine, to make plans, and to do all the other things which are generally included in the catch-all phrase free will. What we really mean by free will, of course, is the visualizing of alternatives and making a choice between them. In my view, the central problem of human consciousness depends on the ability to imagine. Bronowski, 1978. The ability to imagine and, of course, the ability to manipulate the imagination. The virtual is likely to prove a rich territory for both. Much can be gained for the present, then, by the investigation of the tendency to collapse all sensory experience into the visual and the human body, specifically, into an assemblage of its projected optical effects. What had been one of the chief forces for enlightenment, making visually accessible inaccessible domains, has turned into the creation of, and demand for, ghostly simulations. B.M. Stafford, from Hillis. This dissertation will look at the paradoxical and speculative territory of the virtual with regards memory, language, and art.